Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Road to Resilience with your coach, your counselor, and your mentor, Teresa Marie. Now, these shows will be very educational, entertaining, and enlightening for those of you who want to up-level in any area of your life, whether it be in your relationships, your career, your finances, your health. We're going to be covering all of those as we go on. Each episode, I'll have specific guests on my show who have specific areas of interest or expertise. I'll be doing some solo shows where I'll just be sharing with you some things that I've learned on the way. And hopefully you'll learn a little bit, you'll get uplifted, and you'll be introduced to people who may be doing the same thing that you want to do, or you are doing, or you have done, and how to learn and to grow and invest and be the best you that you can be. Well, hello everybody. My name is Teresa Augustinelli. And today I'm going to talk to you about resiliency and why it's so important at this time in our world, in our communities, in our lives. I truly believe that nothing is as powerful in a human being as the power of resilience. So the topic of my talk to you today is called the power of resilience. I hope that you can apply just some of the tips and pointers here today that you'll hear. And it's going to have a great impact on you. So I'm going to share with you today a piece of a presentation that I gave as a keynote speaker a couple of years ago on resilience. I can tell you that in 20 years of my coaching, counseling, and consulting, and so many thousands of clients and presentations, nothing impacts people like a topic on the power of resilience. I'm going to share with you some things that have really helped me. And the topic of resilience is the one thing that really has helped me and something that I continually remind myself that I still possess. This here topic is dedicated to the person who showed me this concept of the power of resilience, and it's my mom. My mother, Teresa, is a remarkable, resilient woman. Still a feisty little Italian woman, but with severe dementia. She's unable to walk or move or barely communicate, and yet she fights on each day. Her little body is racked with arthritis, but she's still in the game, this thing we call life. She can still communicate with me in her own way with her eyes. They're still fiery eyes with a tenacious ability to see through to my soul. And she communicates with me with her big brown eyes. I believe she knows who I am. And I can tell in her eyes that she's still rooting for me. She is still my biggest fan, and I am hers. She always told me that I can make it through anything. Now, her and my dad are still married, and it's been more than 65 years. That's amazing. That's resilience. Her words have helped me in the good times and in the bad times. This speech will recount some amazing stories of resilience, some of my own stories intertwined with some other stories of those who possess resilience, and some key things to take away with you to give you the ability to get through the tough times. The point of the topic of resilience today and the moral of the story would be that no matter what happens with our economy, with your sales teams, what happens with your business, your bank account, or an issue with a customer, issues at home, or even issues within yourself, just know that resilience that you develop as a person will become your superpower. So 3 tips for today. First will be the reason for resilience, some stories of resilience, and experiences about myself in the area of resilience. The second will be on the topic of choice, choosing your own future and the outcome, and choosing your ability to stay resilient. The choices that we make will ultimately become our anchor, those things that will hold us together and keep us stable in the good times and in the bad. And third, I'll talk to you about remembering that it's always now o'clock. Many of my colleagues and my clients have heard me say so often, well, it's now o'clock. You can't get stuck in the past. You got now and only now. It's your time to shine, to come out of the ashes. There's nothing more powerful than someone who learns resilience and says, I'm never going to give up, and I'm not going to let this take me down. But let me clearly say that in all the books about success, and those that I've interviewed over the years, and those that I've counseled or coached or consulted with, the ones who made it through the good times and the bad times, those who had to rebuild their life, they talk about failures and setbacks. It's human nature to experience failures, setbacks, adversities, and challenges. It's all part of the journey to success. Yes, I said the word failures. Setbacks, challenges, yes, yes, and yes. Let me start with a story about great resilience. Let's talk about a great player on the Philadelphia Eagles team, Nick Foles. I'm from Philadelphia, so I start with a story of resilience, with Nick being instrumental in Philadelphia winning its first Super Bowl. But if you look at the story, if you look at the whole story about the player that led us to the Super Bowl, you will find that without a doubt, there were some ups and downs. Nick Foles had many years of ups and downs before leading the Philadelphia Eagles to their first ever Super Bowl victory. Now, Nick was drafted in 2012. This is a story about a backup quarterback named MVP Super Bowl champion. Foles played his first game with the Eagles after Michael Vick became injured midway through the 2012 season, starting for the rest of the year. He lost 2 out of the 3 games he started. While playing for the Eagles during a game in the 2013 season, Michael Vick was injured again, and Foles was called upon. And during that season, he became the second quarterback to post a perfect passer rating while passing for more than 400 yards and 7 touchdowns. According to the statistics, it was the 7th time in NFL history that a quarterback threw for 7 touchdowns in a single game. Nick Foles was then traded to the LA Rams. He had so many fumbles, and he was benched for turnovers. That's too many fumbles and interceptions. From there, he went to the Kansas City Chiefs, where he became a starter because Alex Smith was injured. He wasn't doing real well there for the Chiefs. Foles returned to the Eagles in 2017. Now listen, at this time, Foles was contemplating retirement, but when the Eagles called him, he signed a 2-year deal and had a second stint in Philly as a backup quarterback. Now what happened was Carson Wentz was injured late in the season. And Foles led the Eagles through several playoff wins and finally to their third Super Bowl shot at the Super Bowl. There they defeated the New England Patriots. Super Bowl 52, 2018. It was their first Super Bowl title ever for our Philadelphia Eagles. What's more is that Super Bowl 2018, Foles caught a touchdown pass, becoming the first quarterback ever to throw and catch a touchdown pass in a Super Bowl game. The Eagles defeated New England Patriots 41-33. Nick went from being a backup quarterback at best to the MVP Super Bowl champion. That's remarkable resilience. The lesson here is that Nick Foles had so many setbacks. He was thinking about retiring. He was benched due to having too many turnovers. He was traded several times and at one point had a broken hand. You would think that with so many ups and downs and setbacks, he would have retired. This is where I want to say that before the success, there's disappointments, challenges, adversities. But he persevered. He pursued his dreams. His mind was made up. And he became a Super Bowl champion. Nick Foles and the Philadelphia Eagles. Where do you need to develop resilience? What dreams are you pursuing? And how can you continue to persevere? I will tell you that even though you may feel tempted to quit, or you might get frustrated, you may feel disoriented and feel off track, it's temporary. Maybe you've been trying to lose weight or get healthy. Maybe you're trying to fix your finances. Maybe you need to fix your marriage. Maybe your business is stagnant. You've got problems. Whatever you're dealing with, trust me, there's always going to be periods where you feel like giving up. But in the back of your mind, you might be saying, I can't give up on this. I won't give up on my dream, my family, my company. Now that's resilience. In other words, your mind is made up. And let me tell you, I have found that one person who has learned the power of resilience and taps into that resilience is more powerful than 5,000 who have not. It doesn't matter who you are, what your circumstances are, because resilience is that thing within you that says, I'm going to follow this through to the end. I won't give up. The second thing that I want to talk to you about with the power of resilience is that you become more decisive. You make better choices. You've gotten stronger. You're now resilient. You know yourself better and you become more self-aware, and therefore you make choices that result in better outcomes. One of the top reasons successful entrepreneurs, business owners say that we become more successful is because of the power of decision making. Not only decision making, but what they say is that you need to make quick decisions. Studies actually show that those who make quick decisions are more able to achieve success than those who lack the ability to make decisions. I've interviewed countless people across the globe. The most successful entrepreneurs, business owners said that being decisive, quick, causes you to go into action. And you choose better because you are stronger. You are able to go with the ups and downs of life. And you are able to make quick decisions. Contemplating decisions can sometimes lead you to procrastinate. Now, for those of you who have worked with me, You know my story. When I was 26 years old, my husband died suddenly. Now, during those years, while I was a stay-at-home mom with a young son, my husband developed a pulmonary embolism and died within 9 days. My son and I were devastated. I knew I had a responsibility to my son. I fulfilled my role to the best of my ability. I even planned my husband's funeral, and I spoke at it. This was really out of my comfort zone. I had to learn to run my household as a single parent. I had little education, few skills, and no job. I had to learn how to deal with the pain of being a widow. Now, let me be clear. There were so many decisions I had to make, and some were good decisions, and some were not so good. But I learned resilience through what I was experiencing. I was learning to make better decisions as I was gaining resilience. This takes time, trust me. But all the while, there was a flame that began to ignite, a fire in me to want to help people. But I had to develop who I was in order to live out my purpose that brought me to this exact place and time here with you today. In all that pain and stretching and growing, I learned how to build the muscle of mental resilience. I cemented the belief that I would one day add value to the world. A year and a half later, after the death of my husband, my oldest brother was killed in a car accident. I was again devastated. I was now dealing with the death of my husband, the death of my brother. I was trying to find work, take care of my son. I was trying to keep myself from falling apart daily. And I was beginning to feel that I was never going to be successful or whole. In fact, I was beginning to feel at times that my son would be better off without me. In fact, I had begun to think at times that the world would be better off without me. Again, I was learning to build the mental muscle of resilience. And that is what kept me going in the darkest of days. Over time, I was beginning to heal, and I was attending a local church where I met Vince, and Vince and I were friends. One cool, crisp September evening, I received a call from Vince. He said my sister Lisa and her baby Devin are missing. The long story short was that Lisa and Devin were found murdered. They had visited a baby boutique store. They were killed by the store owner. This man was triggered. This was before people really understood mental illness as we understand it today. This was another massive turning point for me. I watched Vince's mom through this ordeal, and I was inspired. She was an example to me of the meaning of the word resilience. This led me on my path to going back to study human behavior, psychology, social services. Vince and I stayed friends and eventually got engaged, and we were married. Vince helped his family through such an ordeal that together we began understanding the importance and the power of the word resilience. Now, a few years later, my second oldest brother took his life. This tragic incident reaffirmed what I learned about the importance of healing from traumatic events to become resilient. I now watched my parents dealing with not only the loss of one son, but two. They showed me the meaning of the word resilience daily. Now, what are you currently dealing with? How is it affecting you? How is the word resilience starting to play out in your life? In closing, I would just like to say thank you so much for being with me here today. We've all been through so many challenges in the past couple of years that I just hope that hanging out with me here at the Road to Resilience with Teresa Marie will help you to learn how to anchor yourself in the bad times. Today, we've talked about the power of resilience and why it's important, the power of decision making and why it's important to make the right choices, and why it's important to live in the now and not get stuck in the past. I always like to tell people you can't put toothpaste back into the tube. So it's always time to move on. And I hope that you have found some value in our time today. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram at teresamarie.coach. You can find me on my Facebook page at Create Your Own Story with Teresa Marie. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, as well as Clubhouse. It's safe to say that you can pretty much find me on any social media platform. And I hope that you will tune in next time. And if you would like to be a guest on this show, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Or if you know someone who would make a great addition to interview, please let me know. And if you have a podcast and you would like for me to come onto your show, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I wish you all peace, health, and prosperity. Again, this is Coach Teresa with you on the Road to Resilience podcast with Teresa Marie. Bye now.